welcome back to my channel. I am on my Fancy Feats shoot day today and I've got Louisa here who's going to do my hair and makeup for me. I did ask you guys some questions on Instagram yesterday and I thought it's been a little while since I did a Q&A, so whilst I'm getting ready for my shoot, I will answer some of your questions. Right, so this one's interesting. I'm curious about how you grew your following. What did that journey look like year one? Well, I always find this question interesting because when I started this, I never intended to have a big following. No one had ever grown a huge following just from starting to jump rope from scratch and like sharing their journey. It just didn't even cross my mind. I actually started my Instagram profile because I didn't want my friends and family to see me trying to learn to jump rope. I found it a bit cringe and I wanted to tap into this community on Instagram, which during lockdown in 2020 when I started this, there was this little community which I discovered, and then when I was searching like hashtag skipping, hashtag jump rope, there were all these people on Instagram like sharing tips with each other, doing little challenges, like people would be like try this drill. Yeah, I just wanted to get involved with that. I also found it was a nice place to like track my journey and share my progress, and people were really helpful as well and like sharing tips when I was starting out. So that was that. I actually think because my intentions were not, I wasn't like trying to grow it. I literally used to rest my phone against a paint can. I didn't have a tripod. I used the front camera. I didn't like try and make sure the quality was good. Sometimes the framing was really bad. I think it just all looked very authentic, and I think at the start when I didn't have the skills, which now I think that's what people follow me for, like people follow me for the slick videos and what I create now, but back then it was more like, I think people just found it quite endearing that I was trying this new sport and sharing my journey. Also the jump rope community, although it was small, it was very engaged. People had sort of, I think tops around 10,000 followers was like the most someone would have in this community, but everyone was very engaged. So as a small person starting on Instagram, I grew this following just from the community. But then gradually after a few months, when I was sharing progress videos and stuff, they started reaching people from outside that community, and then people started discovering me and wanting me to teach them like how did you learn so much in a short time? Can you share a tutorial on this, etc, etc. And I was like, oh my god, people want to learn from me. And then I just started sharing it, but out of enjoyment and because I was furloughed and I wasn't working and I had the time to. So yeah, and that whole year, to be honest, was very much, you know, I don't think when I look back, my videos weren't super slick like they are today. They were just it was just me sharing this newfound passion. Going into 2021, I hit 100,000 followers, which obviously back then was loads. I couldn't believe it. And actually there was a point where I shared a progress video going into 2021 of my year so far, like from April to December. That went super viral, like Jay Shetty shared it, some other like meme accounts and stuff, and I suddenly, like my following, I think I grew like 25,000 followers in a couple of days. As I improved, I've moved away from, well I still do progress stuff, but back then it was more about learning individual tricks and just sharing my freestyle, whereas now I'm a bit more like I think of the music and I choreograph something to the music and then perform that. It's a slightly different thing I do now, but then I still have like the rawness of me learning stuff and messing up. How young are you? That's a very nice way to ask that question.
Isn't it?
I'm 32. Oh yeah, this one I thought was interesting. With social media phases changing, like the threat of TikTok leaving, does that worry? And I think not really, because I think there's always something. I think if you're a content creator, you shouldn't just be relying on your content creation anyway to make a living. Like whatever you're creating content for, what are you passionate about? What is it that is the subject? I think it's good to look at what products can you create that's actually going to help people. Like I think in most industries there's something like, if you're just a TikTok dancer, can you create something that's going to help other people learn and to spread that joy so other people can do it as well? Like, and obviously for me, I'm genuinely passionate about other people picking this up, so it's been very easy for me to get excited about creating my app Fancy Feats, which is what I'm shooting for today. I'm not taking an income from that because I'm building it and reinvesting the money all the time at the moment, so I want to, as quickly as possible, I want to make it, I want to put all these ideas that I've got into it. So, but if I really had to, like if social media died a death, I have my app and I have subscribers, and I could, you know, slow down the reinvestment into the app, and I could make a living from that. So I have that security. I have my own line of ropes. So, and people will keep on jumping, so there's always that. And I have communities in lots of different places. So I have a large following on Instagram, I've got a large following on TikTok, I've got a large following on YouTube. I've got my Facebook group, which is a community of people jumping. I've got a mailing list as well, so I share like a newsletter twice a week on that. There's lots of ways that I'm connecting with people. So if something happened to TikTok tomorrow, I have all these other platforms, but even if social media went down tomorrow, I do have a business that I'm building. Do you still hang out with Skipping with Sarah? Missing your collabs? I'm missing our collabs as well, but we do still keep in touch, and I actually saw Sarah recently. Both our other halves get on really well as well, so it's really nice. We meet up, just us two, and she's doing really well, if anyone's worried. Do you ever sweat? Always pitch perfect. Feel like I'm like living in the UK, we just don't have it's very rare that it's like there's a big heat wave here. Obviously when there's a heat wave, jumping outside can be uncomfortable. But you've got to remember that most of the year I'm jumping in like 18 or lower temperatures really. Yes, I do get hot, but I find, to be honest, I don't sweat until I stop doing something, and I'm sure it's the same for most. I feel like when you're actually doing something, it's not necessarily when you're the sweatiest, it's when I go inside having jumped that I suddenly start sweating, which is gross. Have you thought about filming some lessons on YouTube to get people buying your app? So little random squeak, did you hear that?
Sound like Pixie.
What have I done on YouTube recently, Alice? I've done a couple of things, haven't I? Which is, I did the first 10 skills you should learn as a beginner, and also I did the top 10 coolest tricks, and I also have a series that I did with Nike actually, which was a 3-part series, get people started and teaching you all the things you should learn first. And those videos I'm talking about, the top 10, I actually give so many tips in those videos as well. There is actually I'm already doing a lot of YouTube content, and it's already out there. I have also, if you look at my playlists on my YouTube channel, I've split some of my educational content into those as well. How do you film yourself, or does someone always help? So for all of my reels content, for all my content you see in my garden stuff, all my shorts, my routines, I self-shoot those. So I have a tripod, which is the exact tripod this camera's on now, and actually I was self-shooting on my phone, but this year I've started using a DSLR, and I think it's noticeably much better. It is just a bit more of a fiddle, there's a lot more settings, but I've kind of got my head around that. And yeah, I put you guys on a tripod and film far enough away that I can make tweaks and add movement in the edit. So I film wide, and then I zoom in and crop, and then I move that. I kind of animate the crop using keyframes, so that's how the camera seems to follow me. And yeah, I really enjoy editing that way, and I love the whole creation process when it comes to all my short form content. So I do all of that myself, but I do, for like this video, for all my YouTube long form content, Ellis does the edits. Sometimes I self-shoot these, so obviously this is technically self-shot because you guys are on a tripod, but obviously sometimes, like today, I've got Ellis filming behind the scenes. Is St Albans your hometown where you grew up, or elsewhere? Yes, I was born in St Albans, I've lived there all my life. Random one, ever been to the Isle of Wight? I went to Festival quite a while ago now. So I've been to the Isle of Wight, but I've only seen the field. Favourite drink, cocktail, beer, wine, cola, etc. Disclaimer, drinking is bad, but I love my red wine. I just love my red wine. My husband says it's like juice to me. Probably right. Do I make money off Instagram? No, Instagram has actually never paid me a penny directly, but obviously due to my following, I'm able to partner with brands. That's how I make my money from there. And then obviously I've created my app as well, which, as I touched on, is, you know, that's the longer term project. Does your app offer a trial? Yes, there's a free 7-day trial. It hadn't been running for a while because when we had the sale on, we couldn't run a trial. You're only allowed one introductory offer at a time, which was really annoying because obviously people then were annoyed there wasn't a trial, but it was out of my hands. But obviously we're not running a particular sale at the moment, so we're able to run a 7-day trial. Are you that ripped from jump roping? Is there other workouts you do behind the scenes? I do weight lift as well, so I strength train. So I go to the gym 4 days a week. I do 2 upper body, 2 lower body, 45-minute sessions each time, as well as my skipping. How long did it take you to not get out of breath after a few skips? I'd say like probably a good couple of months, and it still depends now what I'm doing. Like obviously I could go at it really fast, and depending on like the skills I'm doing, I could be out of breath quite quickly. A big key for being efficient with jump rope is learning footwork like the boxer step and getting away from the basic bounce. The basic bounce is the least efficient footwork you can do, but obviously you have to learn it first, so you can't avoid that. You've got to get your basic bounce down first and then move on to other skills, but things like the running places will tire you less than the basic bounce, and the boxer step is the most efficient. So learning those two will improve that significantly. So yeah, however long it takes you to learn those sort of skills, I guess. Do you have a dick?
Obviously I do.
Do you get recognised in day-to-day life? Yes, I do get recognised. Not all the time. Like, although I have a large following, it's very worldwide. I've not been on TV, like I still don't count myself as a celebrity or anything. But people do recognise me and sometimes say hi, or I get DMs from people saying, I've just seen you. How long does it take you to learn a new combo? So I will typically choreograph a routine in about between 20 and 40 minutes. That will take me to like plan it out, depending how long it is, and then I'll get it, you know, in that time. By figuring it out, I'm also practicing bits of it, and then by the time I'm doing it, I've pretty much learned it. It's just getting it without a mistake. And even when you've learned a combo, you still make mistakes, because then it will take me like 15 minutes to get it down, sometimes longer than that even. I'd love a playlist with easy choreos to begin with. Do I find some in your app or YouTube? So on YouTube I do have some combos, like there's one in my Jump Rope 101, I give you one to learn at the end of the videos. And there's also a playlist with some footwork combos, like some easy ones, but the app is the best place because the app is made so it starts from scratch, so whatever level you're at you can use the app. But if you're a total beginner, you literally start on the basic bounce and then you go through unlocking skills, and as you unlock skills it unlocks combos you can do. So the idea being that it wouldn't let you attempt a combo that's too difficult for you, so you go around like acquiring all your skills, and then once you've got a couple of skills it will actually show you combos you can start learning straight away. It's created in a way not to overwhelm you anyway, and in a way that there are easier combos to begin with. I'd definitely recommend checking that out, but I do have some stuff on YouTube as well. How long have you been jumping and how did you start? I have been jumping for literally, I'm just about to hit my 4-year anniversary of jumping, and I started in lockdown, and it was Carmel Rodriguez, who I followed from more of a fitness perspective for like strength training. I followed her and she was incorporating jump rope into that. She actually wasn't doing anything exactly like what I'm doing now, but I really liked her footwork and that just enticed me at the time. So then I got a rope because of her, and then I discovered this whole other world of jump rope. What is your height? I'm 5'8", quite tall for a woman. What do your parents think of your career path? They absolutely love it. Yeah, they think it's great. They're very proud of me and very supportive. So yeah, thanks Mum and Dad. I know my mum will be watching this. She watches all my YouTube videos. What's your next big move, Lauren? Sticking with your app or branching out? To be honest, I've just got a lot I want to do with the app. Like, I'm only just getting started with that. Like, obviously having Becky here today to introduce all these different skills. You know, I want to continue to expand that and bring on other trainers who can focus on different areas of jump rope, because I literally just scratched the surface of this sport. So yeah, to be honest, Fancy Feats is a massive priority for me at the moment. It would be interesting to know how and why you got into weight training 11 years ago. I was in my 3rd year of uni, and to be honest, when I left school, I just stopped doing sport. I used to do a lot of sport in school and I was quite active, and then I think because I did so much, when I got to a point where I was like in 6th form, I was like, I don't have to do this anymore and I'm not going to do it anymore. And I enjoyed, because I think I always felt like going through school, because I was good at sport, I felt like I had to do it, which is kind of a bit wrong really. Like, I did enjoy it, but it kind of lost its enjoyment because it just felt like I had so many commitments. I don't think I really did enjoy the competitive element of sport. But with weight training, because I'd left school and stopped doing all my sport then, and then I'd gone to uni, was out drinking a lot on weekends and stuff. I've never been overweight, but I was not in great shape, and you know, I was kind of, I don't know, like, I suppose a bit fluffy.
Uncomfortable with yourself.
Yeah, and I was uncomfortable with myself, and ultimately it was more of a an appearance thing. And actually that was when social media, that was when Instagram came around and people were starting to go to the gym. And when I was going to the gym, to be honest, no women were in the weight section. It was quite a new thing. Then I fell in love with it, and then it was like, it wasn't just the aesthetic side, it was the feeling of it as well, feeling strong. What's your diet? So there have been times, like when I started going to the gym, I didn't do any cardio, I just focused on weightlifting, and I felt like I used to have to be a bit more careful about what I was eating. To be honest, nowadays, I mean, I'm conscious, I make healthy decisions and I enjoy eating food that's good for you, but I really do have a relaxed diet now. The only reason I managed to maintain my physique by having that sort of diet is, I believe, because of the jump rope. So obviously I do all the weightlifting as well, and that's what builds my muscle, but how lean I am is all down to jump rope. Like, I eat so much, seriously, like people have no idea. And like people are always shocked when they go for meals with me or like spend time with me, how much I eat. Like, I have a massive appetite. I just don't have to think about it, but I do make sure I'm fueling my body right, because obviously, because I am moving so much, it's really important. And also making sure I eat enough protein, because obviously I lift a lot of weights and stuff. Could you ever see yourself going back to a normal job? I just don't think I could now. I mean, obviously if I had to, I could, but the hardest thing would just be having to work on something I'm not passionate about again. I'm very much like, even whatever happens with me, like I'm really passionate about this now. I'm really passionate about Fancy Feats. I'm already bringing in other trainers anyway and wanting to expand the app like that anyway, because I want to increase the skill base of the app. Ultimately, I think I'm really passionate about seeing that through. I think I'll just, like, whatever happens, I'll just keep pushing that. How do you keep your hair from tripping your rope? I need skipping hairstyles. I always wear it down and I wear a cap, and that is why, because I found it is just the easiest hairstyle to have. Anything like a ponytail, the weight of my hair just falls down as I'm jumping. Buns unravel. I suppose I think things like pigtails and plaits, if you're good at them, but I'm not very good at them, and they just close it naff on me. Have I tried to use Crossropes? I think Crossropes are a really good brand, but just for me, they don't suit my goals. I'm a bit like skeptical about the idea that a weighted rope does a lot more than offer resistance, like does a lot more than make it harder. It's just a cardiovascular thing. You're gonna have to work harder to move a heavy rope. But I think there's some big claims about muscle and things. Ultimately, the movement of moving a rope, it's not muscle building movement. There's a reason why to get biceps, you've got to do a bicep curl. Anything pull is like a back exercise. You know, when you're doing leg exercises, ultimately you have to bend your leg and extend again. Ultimately, moving a skipping rope doesn't involve all that. So I just think people do feel stronger from using those sort of like weighted ropes and stuff. I think it will make some difference to an extent, but it's not going to do what weightlifting does. I think it's more that people get leaner, so they see their muscles more, which is going to happen. Like if you jump rope, you're going to get leaner. I do think cross ropes are great, but I just think as long as people are being honest, you know, about what they're using them for and what they can actually achieve with them, and if your goal is to just, you know, add a bit more difficulty, you're going to get a bit more bang for your buck if you're moving a heavier rope, then that's fine, that makes sense to me. But yeah, I think the other thing with cross ropes is they're just incredibly expensive, and I think there's also the other thing that's quite restricted with them is they're not resizable. Just to give you an example, according to their size chart, I should be like a medium, but I actually would use an extra small because my ropes are short. So they suggest the rope length based on your height, but obviously it totally depends on what your goals are, and I wouldn't say their size chart is with efficiency in mind necessarily. If you're considering cross ropes, I don't think they should be your first ropes. To spend over £100 on ropes as your first ropes isn't a good idea anyway. I'd recommend getting a PVC or beaded rope, seeing if it's a hobby you actually enjoy, figuring out your rope length that's right for you, and then investing in cross ropes later on. Can you hear my tummy making noises? Yeah,
She needs some more crisps.
How many caps do you own? Do you have a favourite? I can't remember how many. I think I need to do a separate video again on my cats, because I'm getting a lot of questions about these. I think this is my favourite at the moment. I like the colour. And I like my black one as well. It's like a sort of zebra print. Or is it a tiger but black? I don't know. No, it's black, but I don't know what it is. But it's an animal print one anyway. My headphones are Beats by Dre Solo 3. They're just a really nice size, especially for a woman's head. I know someone asked somewhere as well about in-ear headphones. I haven't found any in-ear headphones that stay in on me just doing normal things, let alone jump rope, so they're just a no-no for me. But I wore my husband's AirPods ages ago, and one of them, it fell off and then I yeeted it with my rope into the neighbour's garden, so that was never seen again. How do you cope with hate? I feel like I got a lot better at it because I understand now where it comes from. Because I think when I started it, I did take it personally, but now the more I've done this and the more hate I've got, and actually the more hateful people have got, the more successful I've become, you realise that it's just totally a reflection on them. Like, why do they care? Like, when you're scrolling social media, if you don't like something, you just scroll on. There's something ridiculous, like 100 million posts are posted on Instagram a day, just using Instagram as an example. Why, if you don't like something, would you comment? It is never because someone actually hates you. It's because something has triggered them. Something on your video has triggered them to make them feel rubbish about themselves, which is really sad, but it only ever happens to people who aren't happy themselves. So actually, I feel quite sorry for people who hate on my videos. It's them, it's not you, and that's how I deal with the hate. It looks amazing, thank you.
It's alright, it looks so good.
So happy, look at that. Louisa's so good. She did my hair and makeup for my wedding, so yeah. So I'm just going to answer this one because actually I think it's really important, because someone said, what do you need to get started if you're on a low budget? I'm just going to say with that one, download my free quick start guide, because it has a lot of things on there, all the things you need to know to get started. Things like a mat won't make or break you, but it will improve the life of your rope. So something like a mat is an investment, but it's not essential. But obviously if you're jumping on concrete, your rope will wear down very quickly if you don't use a mat. So something like that is not an essential and is quite an expensive upfront cost that you could do away with if you're on a budget. Ropes though, it is really important you have a good beaded rope to start with. I talk about this on my free quick start guide as well. That will affect your progress. If you get the wrong rope, like a wire rope or something, or a cheap rope on Amazon, you may just get frustrated and then you just won't enjoy it. So there's I do think there are some things where it's like, there's no point, if you buy it, you end up paying twice anyway, because you'll realise you're not getting anywhere, or you'll actually give up on it completely, which we don't want. So yeah, so I think if you're on a budget, rope type is important, so make sure you get a beaded rope, and just get one beaded rope and that's it to start. Just use YouTube and Instagram, use my free content on YouTube, look for free content out there, it does exist. Look, there's stuff on Fancy Feet that you just won't find elsewhere, and that is a fact, but you have to remember that I did manage to learn this for free. I didn't have something like Fancy Feet back then, and I'll always shout about that. So this isn't, you can learn to jump rope on a budget. I'm absolutely bursting for a wee, so I'm gonna wrap this up here, looking much better than I did when I opened the video. Thank you, Louisa, for making me look amazing. Yeah, thank you for watching. I'll put links in the description, although I don't know if links are working a bit funny on YouTube at the moment, but I'll try, to my ropes and to my app as well. I'll also link my free guide in the description, because to be honest, that's the best place to start. Before you purchase anything, just download my free quick start guide, because it's going to give you all the information you need. I hope you enjoyed this Q&A. Let me know in the comments if you did, and make sure you give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what I've got to come. I'm filming behind the scenes today, so you can see what we're shooting. I'll be sharing that video soon, so look out for it, and I'll see you in my next video. That's a wrap, innit?